Ms. Sun, we've had 3 years of lockdown, and after that, China opened its doors and it went straight into one of the country's most important holiday seasons. Now, your Lunar New Year data shows this outbound travel rising a staggering 640%. But the big question here is the China tourist back?
During the Chinese New Year, we have seen three-digit growth all over the country. So we're very excited to see the domestic travel lead its way for the recovery. The second wave is outbound travel. We have enjoyed more than 600% year-over-year growth. However, we still would like to see more airplanes and also more visa offices being able to lift more heavy weight because during the past 3 years, many people have not got their visas. Many airlines have reduced their flights. So all these infrastructure and capacity needs to be further improved. Hopefully by the second half of this year, we'll see a normalized capacity.
Where did people choose to go?
For this past Chinese New Year, Singapore, Phuket, Bali, Kuala Lumpur, etc., Asian countries are very popular for Chinese travelers to go to. Prime Minister of Thailand went to the airport to welcome Trip.com customers. Therefore, there is a huge fan who are coming to Thailand to visit. In Singapore, it's the same thing because the Minister of the Public Health analyzed in front of the public why they believe it is the same time of the virus, and therefore they welcome Chinese tourists. All these content and speeches are very welcomed by the tourists. Therefore, these two countries stand out as the most welcomed destination for China travel outbound countries.
Well, even before the pandemic, Chinese travelers revolutionized the way that the global travel industry worked, simply because of the sheer volume of them, because they spent differently, they paid differently as well. But post-COVID, is the China traveler the same? Are we seeing a different kind of Chinese traveler emerge?
Yes, we have seen 4 S's as our new trends. First of all, people are paying lots of attention to safety. Secondly, people prefer to travel within smaller groups. And thirdly, people are very conscious on sustainability, particularly for the young generation. And lastly, people prefer to book with short booking window. So these are the new trends we have observed when we saw the recovery for the domestic travel market.
Countries are, undertaking lots of different change when it comes to their tourism offerings. They're trying to calibrate what they offer tourists. Hong Kong, as an example, is offering 500,000 free flights to try to lure those tourists back in. Do you think sort of carrots like this, measures like this, are they going to work?
Yeah, definitely. I think at the beginning where the customers are trying to select which airport to depart, which airport to arrive, these incentives are very helpful just to attract attentions. And plus these airports have wonderful shops and facilities to support our customers during their journey. So it will be very helpful.
Looking forward in 2023, there are predictions that China's economy may be slowing a little bit. Even with those savings, travel is still a priority?
Yes, I think travel still contributes to about 10% of the job opportunities around the world, contributes about 10% of the GDP and about 7% of international trading. So it's a very important industry that not only brings wealth to each country, also brings the world together.
During the pandemic, this buzz phrase appeared, revenge travel. This idea of people making up for lost time because we couldn't travel so much. Is revenge travel a concept that people embrace in China as well? Have you heard people say as soon as they can, they want to be able to see the world again?
Absolutely. Our teaching by Confucius is it is better to travel 10,000 miles than to read 10,000 books. And it is better to talk to 10,000 people than to read 10,000 books. So traveling and being part of the local community is a process of learning in our teaching. So everyone is ready to travel around the world.
The pandemic also saw people wanting to tick off what is known as this bucket list. This idea of certain places that you absolutely must go to before the end.
China is a very big country. We have 1.4 billion people, and pre-COVID, we sent about 155 million people around the world. So pre-pandemic, China became #1 inbound country for Australia and many other regions as well. So you will see customers have shown great interest in many wonderful places. So we have 3 long weekends. The first one is Chinese New Year. The second one is October 1st, the national holiday. The third one is the summer holiday. So for these 3 long holidays, families tend to bring their children to long distance destination. And then we also have 3 relatively short holiday. The first one is the spring break. The second one is the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival. And the third one is the Dragon Boat holidays. So normally people will take 1 day or 2 days off plus the holiday to make a short distance trip. So if we work well with the tourism board around the world, we'll be able to package the right deal for the customers based on their availability.
You mentioned earlier that capacity needs to ramp up if we're going to be able to meet the amount of demand that we're seeing as travel recovers and so on. Airlines, hotels, all of these vendors, you work with them, you watch how they're managing the situation. How are they doing? What more would you like to see?
For domestic airlines and airport, it recovered very well. I think they didn't have major layoffs and they preserved the workforce. And therefore, when the demand is recovered, the supply side have matched up with the demand side. So that's why domestic market recovers very rapidly. Overseas, I think we are still in the process of increasing the capacity for airlines. It's well under the way, but it might take us 1 quarter to recover to 30%, another quarter to 60 to 70%, and hopefully by the second half of the year, we'll be able to recover it to fully. And also the third element is the airports in the global places. There are a shortage of workers in the airports. And we saw many airports are using robotics to handle baggages right now in order to speed up the process of the recovery, which is very positive.
But I understand that Trip.com was involved in a WTTC report that looked at travel patterns, and you found some very interesting sort of information about how Chinese travelers perceive sustainable tourism. Can you share with us those findings?
Absolutely. Our customers pays lots of attention to making sure they are traveling with green initiatives. Our customers promote a concept of 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And we have found more than 60% of the customers are willing to take extra measures to offset their carbon footprints. And majority of our customers are willing to pay extra money to make sure they buy carbon credits to offset it. So we are very positive, particularly in a young generation. Travel green becomes their mission, and we're very positive for that. So in our product, if you want to select flights that emit less, you can do so. If you want to select hotels which join us for green initiatives, you can do so. And we also promote public transportations, etc., to make sure that we contribute positively in the green initiatives.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the percentage of travelers who are actively seeking sustainable travel options, according to that WTTC report that was done together with Trip.com as well as Deloitte, it was 69%. That's a tremendous figure. Is it influencing the manner in which you have to package your offerings, how you tailor these offerings?
Yes, absolutely. For example, we give our customers reusable mugs, reusable toothbrushes and slippers, so they don't need to use new one for every hotel they check in, and customers are very willing to do so. And if they want to use our credit to offset carbon, our team can also match their contribution and contribute positively to the carbon offset measures.
Do you believe that this trend is in itself sustainable? Will it continue?
I believe so. I have been very positive to see that the young generation feel very passionate about the green initiatives. Not only we need to do what we are doing now, we also need to invest in the new technology. Scientists are also working very hard to discover and explore new methods which can reduce the carbon usage.
The increasing US-China tensions. Do Chinese travelers care about that?
I think particularly during the period where is a challenge, travel becomes very important to bring people together, to enhance mutual understanding and promote global understanding and exchange. So I think Chinese travelers plays a very important role. We always tell them they are the diplomats of China, and we also love to invite more friends from all over the world to come and see what China is really it is. So through that, we hope we can promote global understanding and global peace.
Yeah, travelers as ambassadors for a country. I mean, it's a wonderful idea. Here in Southeast Asia, Chinese tourists have always been a mainstay of our tourism industries. And when the pandemic hit, we really missed their presence. We have group tours that have just begun again. How concerned, though, are Chinese travelers about, coming back to this part of the world to actually be received again in Southeast Asia
They are very close to their home country. So naturally, when they make the first couple of trips, these are very natural selections for our customers. And we have feel warm welcome for our tourists. So we're working very hard with the government and tourist board just to make sure we do a lot of pre-warming before our customers make their decision as to where to go. And when they arrive in these beautiful destinations, the local government also pay attention to safety, security, and making sure their travel experience is ascertained so that they will bring their family back to the regions again.
Not all countries were welcoming of Chinese travelers, though. Some were wary, perhaps, that a Chinese traveler might bring a new variant of COVID into their countries. We saw restrictions being put in place. Morocco even banned Chinese travelers. How do these travel restrictions impact the manner in which the Chinese travel tourism industry is going to revive?
Yeah, we believe countries which can control the situation scientifically will be able to take advantage of this pent-up demand. As we discussed before, Thailand stands out because the officials, prime ministers, went to the airport to welcome Chinese tourists. In Singapore, the public health officers made analysis as to why there shouldn't be any fear for the Chinese inbound customers. These scientific method to welcome the Chinese tourists will benefit the destinations very well.
The fear factor about going overseas, it may weigh on the minds of Chinese travelers too, especially with the pandemic anti-Asian headlines that we've seen. How far do Chinese tourists actually take those headlines into account? And more importantly, does it influence at all where they choose to go?
People always prefer to go to the countries or destinations which they feel welcome and which they feel safe. But seeing is believing. I think the promotion from the destination, the description of the destination plays a very important role pre-departure. And once customers are in these destinations, then the security and the safety become the top priority for outbound travelers. So we are working very hard with the government for destinations and making sure our customers know the facts before they make the plan. And when they arrive, they also are very well protected and very well secured for their journey.
Which countries do you predict, though, might be able to sustain these numbers going forward?
I think countries which can manage different challenges well, utilizing scientific methods, will be able to sustain these efforts. So far, we have seen many countries working very positively towards that goal. Thailand does very well. Singapore does very well. Many other countries are also trying very hard. I'm sure as we expand more and more, bring more and more customers abroad, that efforts can also be expanded.
For international travelers, have things changed at all in terms of the logistics for travelers coming into China?
Yes, it's much easier compared to the 3 years where the incoming travelers need to be quarantined. There is nothing necessary right now. The only thing we need is the 48 test, but hopefully be able to make inbound travel very welcoming, very open going forward. The surge and demand are very strong. Many of my business friends are already trying to make appointments coming into China. So yeah, the pent-up demand is also very strong.
You travel a great deal, Ms. Sun, in the work that you do. When you go overseas and you look at what's happening with visitors to different jurisdictions, what do you see? Is it looking like it's back to normal?
I was able to go to Europe, America, and the rest of the Asia last summer, and I saw a huge pickup for travel demand. So I was very excited, and ever since then, we have been working very hard to prepare our partners just to make sure once the border opens, they are very well prepared and geared up to handle the increased volume.
Ms. Sun, thank you for being on In Conversation.
Thank you so much. Our mission is while we are sending people further away, we are bringing the world closer.